But we do get a special treat where we move on to the main event and we get to hear one of my favorite themes of the early 80s, well, early
Money,
90s, late
money, money,
80s.
money,
Money, money,
money.
money, money. I love Ted
Yeah,
DiBiase,
it's
man. And
great.
it's so good to see him like walk in with his suit strutting. You think like this guy can still go.
Yeah.
Then right after that, Brutus Beefcake also has a pretty nifty theme. It doesn't get enough love. Look, I'm going to come right out of the gates here and say I'm not the biggest Hogan guy, so I'm definitely not the biggest Brutus guy. I know that you have a
Disappointing.
soft spot for
Yeah.
him, but he comes out, he's strutting and cutting. The commentators allude to the fact that he's going to have some ring rust because he's been away for a long time, and the entire story of the match is can Brutus still go? Now, I I got a little bit annoyed. I understand it was 1993 and it's his big comeback, but I got a bit annoyed when he wanted to go for the lockup and Brutus did the strut. He went for the lockup and Brutus did the strut again, which I think
I hear
works
you.
if you're a heel. If you're a good
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah,
it's
it's a bit like
annoying.
annoying. Like, fight the guy. Fight the guy. He wants to smash your face in.
I
Fight
think
the guy. Yeah, I hear
I
you.
think it just made me happy just because nobody has a better like pissed off face than Ted DiBiase, who's just
Yeah.
looking there like, "What are you doing? Like, are you serious right now? Is this what we're doing?"
Mm-hmm.
So it eventually gets into a proper match, and Brutus Beefcake has the following moves: a headlock. That is
Fantastic.
it. That's all he
No,
did.
surely
Was
not. Surely there was more. Let me check my
wa-
notes. Surely there was more.
watch it back, man.
I'm
Watch it
checking my
back. It
notes.
was
Let's
headlock,
read.
grinding headlock, shoulder charge, grinding headlock.
Yeah.
Find me something else. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm reading my notes and there's nothing. There's nothing.
It's nothing, right? He did like one of my absolute pet peeves is the headlock and then the grinding headlock. Because it just annoys the hell out of me because like if you watch UFC,
You
they
hold
won't
that thing in.
grind the
Yeah.
headlock. They're not going to grind the headlock because that means you're losing grip. The whole point of
Exactly.
a headlock is I'm holding you in place so that I can control you. But
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
grinding stuff, it's a
You're leaving
remnant of the
gaps open for
Hulkamania
them
era.
to try and somehow escape. And yeah, I hear you.
And I think it made it worse because it's Ted DiBiase who is like a well-known, incredible mat technician.
Hmm.
And what? So you're telling me Ted DiBiase, this guy who used to have like bloodbaths with Junkyard Dog and Jake the Snake, is just letting this guy just like grind his head. Like it's just whatever. It's wrestling. Who cares? But then, and I even wrote here, Ted is rolling his eyes as he's in Brutus's stupid headlock. Yeah, Ted, me too. Just I was feeling spicy when I was watching this.
Feeling
But
spicy.
then we see we see we see the
Iris.
fantastic IRS walk out with his dastardly Halliburton, and the match ends in a DQ because Irwin. That's I don't know if you heard that. It's been chanted throughout the entire crowd. They're all
I did
going
not hear it once.
Irwin. He comes out and he just brutalizes
Brutus.
Brutus's head with that Halliburton briefcase.
Yeah.
Like it's a hard hit, and you could hear the clunk. And what was so interesting about this section is that it was a proper gear shift. Like we went from happy bollocks, oh look, there's the battle royal, and there's a guy who thinks he's a mountain man, and oh look at the grinding headlock, and
To
then just
now,
out of nowhere,
you've just
we're
exploded
back
his
into
face.
like
Yeah.
we're now into like Florida Championship Wrestling with like Kevin Sullivan. We're back in like sort of the Crockett promotion with the Four
Mm.
Horsemen, where it's
Yeah.
like a bit ugly. Like Ted DiBiase's holding him in a full Nelson. Erwin R. Scheiste gets the Halliburton. And in full view of everyone, this already damaged face, the face that's been a source of concern for everyone involved, just gets clocked with the
And
corner
he
of the
clocked
Halliburton.
it. Like, that was a
It
good
was
shot.
it was bad. And I mean, it was great, but it was bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I have such mixed feelings about it because it was so good to see Ted DiBiase as this diabolical heel again. Because I think we
Hmm.
forget he might have been screwing around like with paying people to get out of the pool so he could have the whole pool to himself. All that goofy stuff that he did in the
Yeah,
80s. You forget this is Ted DiBiase.
100%.
This is a
This is the
guy who
man
like
that
he had been
ran the heel division in the 80s, the mid
in
to
the
late
80s, and then
80s.
even before that, he was this badass in Mid South. He went to All
Exactly.
Japan and like,
His AWA
he
work.
was a guy. Yeah, he was a guy that flipping Stan Hansen used to tag with. You need to know that like
Yeah,
someone's if Stan Hansen respects you, you're okay.
100%.
Um, and I think, we also forget that Mike Rotunda, Owen R. Shieste is also such a good worker. And it's funny to see him as a heel because that just was never his thing. He was like always a kind of smiling, do-gooder baby face. Ted DiBiase's laugh is fantastic. Owen R. Shieste's laugh is literally terrifying. Just that ha ha ha. And what I wrote down here is holy crap, the color. There is a lot of blood.
There was a lot of blood. There was.
It was so unexpected. There's a big blot of blood on the canvas following this attack from the
Hmm.
Halliburton. And what somebody who's not been given enough credit during this feud, and probably never will just because of how it turned out. Jimmy Hart
He did
was
well.
brilliant in it.
He
The entire time.
helped
The
give
entire time he's
sympathy to
managing Money
Brutus.
In.
That's the thing.
Exactly. The entire time that he's managing him. So when Ted is getting a bit outmaneuvered by Brutus, Jimmy Hart is going, I told you, this guy's not a pushover.
Hmm.
You got to take him seriously. Stop it. This guy is not a pushover. Then when they get ready to attack with the Halliburton, Jimmy Hart is saying, like, guys, don't do this. Guys, please don't do this. Please
Exactly.
don't do this. Please don't do this. And then when he does eventually hit Brutus, that, Erwin R. Shiester, that is, Jimmy Hart face to him. Boom.
Just
He's
like that.
by Brutus's side. And it makes sense. It's perfect because it's that classic thing of when the heels do something so heinous,
That
one
even
of
the
two things are
manager
going to happen.
can't stand by this. Yes.
Exactly. I can't. I've taken all I can stands, and I can't stands no more. It's the classic. It's the classic babyface turn,
Hmm.
and it's quite a debilitating scene, and it's a weird thing to go off the air.
One thing
But
ruined it
what
though.
I'll say is that
One
yes,
thing
tell me.
ruined it. So after the break, because they had this whole big moment, they went to the break, came back for like 30 seconds thereafter. Okay? And after the break, Vince gave an update on Brutus telling us that it's
Yeah.
just a broken nose and that he'll be fine. And I'm like,
Why?
why? This ruined the whole
Why?
segment. Now I'm not concerned for the
It's
guy. He's just got a broken nose. I don't care anymore. People break noses all the time. Like,
mm,
it should have
it's
been, we don't know if
it's
this guy's going to make it to next week. And when he pops out next week, so the week after when Hogan calls him out, spoiler alert, then it's this huge
uh,
moment and it's, oh, he's
a
okay.
big surprise.
Yeah. But no,
It's a big
just got a
surprise.
little bit of just a broken nose. Just that's all.
No, and that was the thing is that it was so close to being good in that
Hmm.
Vince couldn't really make up his mind how he felt about it because he was doing the humanity. Oh, he's got a family.
He'll
Let's
be
watch that
fine.
again in
He'll be
slow.
fine.
Let's watch that again in slow motion.
Yes.
And then I was like, what? And then exactly as you say, completely underselling the whole thing by going, oh, it's gonna be okay. He's just got a broken nose. He'll be here next week. Don't worry about it. You remember recently when what's it Bronson Reed took out Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
The reason why that was such an effective scene is because the way that they treated it, you kind of thought,
Seth is going to be
is
out for
Seth
a long
okay?
time. Exactly.
Is he okay?
Exactly.
Like because like the thing is, look, wrestling's predetermined, yada yada yada. But I'm sorry, there are a lot of ways that a big 300-pound man falling on you can go wrong.
Exactly. 100%. There are a lot of ways that a briefcase going into your face that has had reconstructive surgery can go wrong. So play into that. Allude to that something has gone wrong. Like allude to the fact that
Yeah.
his face is exploded once again. It's in a million pieces. Don't just tell us he's got a broken nose. I don't care about his broken nose.
Raw,
I
yeah,
don't.
Raw is so interesting at this time because it is like a real mishmash of eras in that Hulkamania is dead, the Attitude Era is nowhere close, but
Yeah,
they haven't quite embraced the wacky new generation era. It's there for sure,
but it's not
but it's
quite there
just so
yet. Yeah.
interesting. It's this weird mishmash of like you get like proper Hulkamania nonsense, Kamala running after Kimchi. You get like this was like proper Southern Territory stuff of like the bust. I mean, when I was thinking about this, like the briefcase to the head, the blood, the tag teams teaming up on the teaming up on the babyface, I was getting proper Dusty Rhodes getting the spike to his chest from Sullivan, or
Okay. Yeah.
what's it, or Junkie or JYD getting blinded by the hair cream from the Freebirds.
Mm.
Like it was giving those sort of vibes, and I just kept thinking, how crap would those angles have been if Bill Watts on commentary had just been like, "Oh, JYD should be fine. He can really see. It should be okay."
Exactly.
No, the big thing about that, and then what worked with that is that JYD went home and pretended to be blind for like
Exactly.
2 months. I mean,
Stupid.
just
Stupid.
go with
Really
it.
stupid.
It's this. So, what did you think of this week's episode of Raw? Since we're
Not
wrapping up,
great. Not great. Full of jobbers, full of job matches. Once again, this is like the continuous thing happening on Raw, except for the odd week when you get a couple banger matches. Um, I don't know. It's just there was no stories being built here other than okay, um, Giant Gonzalez trying to look stronger, and then of course this main event. Other than that, nothing else mattered. The Steiners match irrelevant. Like I could have done without it. The what else did we have on here? The
Yokozuna crushing
could have done without it.
Greenberg
Could have done without it. The
Battle
battle royal
Royal.
could have done without it. This is the only thing that mattered, and they still found a way to mess it up.
Yeah, not a
What do you
great
think?
show. Has to be said. Yeah, bit of a strange comeback for us, but I feel as though people are they have to become more inclined to the fact that it's more about seeing where Rule has gone
Yes,
as opposed to where it started.
and
Because
how
when it
it's gonna
started,
evolve.
yeah, I mean, this is episode 5 for God's sake. You know,
Yeah,
episode 5 of Raw. Episode 6 for us, but episode 5 for Raw.
correct. Yeah,
And you can see that they're finding their feet. They're figuring out how this like live TV sort of works. They've
hmm
had some gems, and yeah, it's unfortunately you're going to get some shows that just don't touch the sides,
exactly.
and
Wild,
it's a fascinating watch.
wild, wild. Okay, that's one way to explain it. Don't touch the sides. Interesting. Okay, well, yeah, this was. What can we say? It was just another episode of early days Raw. Simple as that.